Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this your first day in the shop as intern for the summer?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it is.
Legitimately?
Yes.
Cool.
So what we're doing here is we're making some bike racks. So right now, just preparing, getting all the metal cut, all the stuff ready to be welded. So what we got here is kind of the legs of the bike racks. I'm just setting right here. So this is kind of the base of the rack that we're cutting right now. Just measuring all that, cutting it, getting prepared for Tay to come in and weld it. So,
all right.
Gotta come over here, grab this long piece of metal, and then bring it all the way over there to the saw. So that's my process.
Oh, thank God you explained it. I didn't understand. Yeah. You have the perfect dirt mustache.
Do I actually? Oh goodness. I don't know how it'll get on my face. So this is my second to last piece. So 3 more cuts.
Oh, no, all he's got is a dirt mustache. That did not make it better.
Did it not?
Hey guys, Tay here, and Tyler is with us here in the shop. How are you, dude?
Good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Having a good day so far?
Absolutely.
Dude, I was gone for 2 hours and you're cranking out some metal.
Yes.
That's awesome. Tyler is from the Burton School of, it's been many names. What do they call it now?
Burton Center for Arts and Technology. They're changing it again though, when they build the new school.
Yeah, there's a new building being built, which is awesome. They call it CTE, which is not the head injury, it's something else. Same acronym, it means something else.
Career
Technical Education or something like that.
Yeah.
You've finished your junior year in high school.
Yep.
And you got a senior year left. Are you doing more with Burton next year?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
So I'll have like 2 classes where I go in for Burton for welding. That'll be my 3rd year there. And then I'll have 2 regular classes in school and 2 online. And then the other day I'd have a full day of work. So that's my goal.
Such a great way to warm up to the real world, man.
Yeah. Everybody that I know that's been to Burton was like, that was the best part of it.
It's great. You learn how to like do stuff, not just regurgitate information.
And I'm not technically in school. So
yeah, which is
fun.
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, true.
Yeah. But Tyler's on board now, 3 days a week for the summer, which we're honored to have you. You've seen Tyler. If you saw the soccer ball sculpture video, you saw actually the final part of that video has either just come out or is about to come out, but just come out. You'll see that. And yeah, the final reveal part of that video. You've seen the building part. Anyway, today we are starting, if you haven't mentioned already, we are starting some bike racks for our friends over at Friends of the Blue Ridge. Shout out Julie and Andrea. And it's the 2nd batch of bike racks we've done for this organization. The first round was very well received. And I even get to see a few of them out in the wild regularly, which is very satisfying. The general construction of these racks consists of 2 skis, which these are the skis. And by that, I mean the bottom rails that actually sit on the floor, on the ground. On the 2 skis will be mounted, this isn't it. Oh, it's okay. My dad just successfully pulled through on quadruple bypass heart surgery, so yay. If anyone is a Mike Whiteside fan out there from the Savage Dog days, he's doing great. And by the time you see this, he'll be well on his way to recovery. But that's what that was. I was checking on dear old dad in the hospital. He's just fine. It was an elective heart surgery. He is, anyway, yeah.
Takes a lot more to keep that kid down.
That's right.
That old sea dog.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you wanted to.
Oh, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So basically the idea is that there will be 2 of these rails per rack, and then the rails will be connected by these staples. This is not really what it'll look like. They will look more like that. So I'm about to take this drawing and come up with a bend plan for our JD Squared Model 32 tubing bender, which I'm about to take from a manual bender into a powered hydraulic bender, thanks to some parts that I just bought. And even further than that, I may get creative with some limit switches and some smart wiring and set up an automatic stop so that this thing can sit there and crank out 90-degree bends over and over again. So if doing it by eye is a little tedious to get consistent, I may put the investment into a few clever electronics to automate the bender. So we'll see if we get there. There's a motorsport division at Burton, but you were not in motorsports,
Yes, there
right?
is, but I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I've done several roll cages, some from scratch and some using kits. But there will be a lot of these. So I'm hoping the way we do this, and I'm treating this like the main hoop of a roll cage. And the way to do it is work from the middle out. So essentially what we'll do is figure out where the bend is gonna start, make our midpoint. We'll have a certain amount of straight, the bend will start and go for 90 degrees. Same thing this way, certain amount of straight, bend will start, go 90 degrees, and we'll have a certain amount of straight left over.
Yeah.
The first few we make will probably waste a little material, but those will allow us to take some more precise measurements, and then we can cut them to exactly
Just
the
kind of
right
like
thing.
a test piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It won't be waste, but we'll just have a little bit of straight waste on the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, and then these will all get capped, and actually I think we're just gonna do plastic caps like we did last year, but we do need to weld tabs on all these so we can get to that point. And of course they all need to be beveled and deburred and stuff like that, but killing it so far.
Awesome.
That's what we're cranking on in this video. Let's get back to the action.
Get that dirt stash going.
Is it still there?
I mean, residual.
Gosh.
Okay, so a little bit about this JD Squared tubing bender. I'm not sponsored by JD Squared. They have not given me any discounts or free products, even though I have asked. Why wouldn't I ask? You gotta ask. I bought the JD Squared Model 32 tubing bender probably 10 years ago when I was first starting to build my 240SX drift car. I was planning to build the roll cage from scratch. So I bought the bender because it was a pretty good deal. It wasn't all that expensive. And then I ended up getting a roll cage kit that was sort of pre-bent and pre-notched because it was so affordable. Back then, InjukuRacing.com sold 1.5" 0.95 wall DOM pre-bent roll cage kits for like $450 or something, which is nuts. So I didn't end up really using that bender to build an entire cage, but I did use the bender to make one-off tubes here and there, you know, modify some stuff. And I've honestly used it more for architectural reasons, like handrails and roof racks. Well, it's not architectural, than I have for roll cages. But it's always been manual. You know, it's a lot cheaper if you just get the manual bender, which uses sort of a ratcheting mechanism to bend the pipe. So I am driving to a hydraulic parts supply house, Cardinal Rubber. It's where I got the hydraulic cylinders rebuilt for my two-post car lift. and hopefully they've got some ISO 68 hydraulic fluid. We'll get back, top it up, and start bending some sample pipes, and then we'll see about ways we can make the bender repeatable and consistent and accurate by setting up some sort of stop or something. So I will see you once I've secured the bag. Well, Cardinal Rubber didn't have anything, but it looks like Advanced Auto might have something. Apparently, ISO 68 oil is a little less common than your 32. I guess it's a different weight of oil, but it's got the sticker on the tank, so I want to put the right stuff in it. So the hunt continues. Very cool. Okay, so the way this bender works, you have your pipe through here, and you have a clamping strap goes around your pipe, and then you tighten this bolt and snug it up on the pipe. And now, to know how far you're bending, you really just have this piece of welding wire, and you have this dial indicator down here. And you just go till it stops. And the only trick about nailing an angle here on a bender like this is to account for the fact that metal has spring back. You know, you have I believe it's a yield strength chart, or a stress strain chart, or a yield something. It's been a while since I took a statics class, but metal will, there's an elastic and a plastic deformation. So an elastic deformation of any material means it'll bend and then return to its original shape once the force is released. A plastic deformation means that once you bend it, it is now bent and it will not return to its original shape. Metal has both, right? So you bend metal a little bit, it will retract back to its original place. But if you bend it enough, the deformation will go from elastic to plastic, and now you're actually bending it to a point where it will not return back to its original shape. So the spring back that people talk about when they're using benders like this is in relation to metal's tendency to spring back or its elastic deformation characteristic. So if I want to bend on this bender, 90-degree bend with metal, usually you're aiming for like 93, 94, 95 degrees on the dial, so that when you let the pressure off, the elastic deformation will go away and the plastic deformation that is left is sitting right at 90 degrees. Maybe a complicated way to explain that, but that's basically what's going on. My goal is to do some test bends with the hydraulic unit here, get used to it, and then start dialing in that spring back. So to start with, you've got your follow bar, which tells you what hole it goes in, hole 5. Die and follow bar are specific to 1.5 tube. And so the way I map out my bends, a long time ago, which is evident because this is rusty, I made a sample 90 and I drew a line right here where the die contacts the pipe, because I need a reference edge. I need a physical edge to reference any sort of measurement from. So this is a 90 I bent in this die, this exact die, and this cutout right here is exactly on the face of that die. The reason that's important is, let's say I'm trying to make, I'm trying to make the shape that I'm trying to make, these staples. I need them to be a certain width, and you have to know how much material gets eaten up by the bend and where the bend actually starts. So let's say I want to make a bend that follows this contour, right? I use my test piece, and basically what I would do is set it here and make a mark there, and then set it here and make a mark there. And so all I need to do now is measure in between those two marks, like that, and you get 11 inches. And to do bending like this, I always work from the middle out. So it would be 5.5 inches from center, left and right. I'm gonna make this shape. You have your center mark and you have your bend start line. And so I have just determined that it's 5.5, 5.5 inches from the center to the bend start. And then I need to know how much material the bend eats up. I had another gauge. So this is one I made for 1 3/4 inch. And you can see lines on here. That was the mission of this sample bend, was to do the same thing I just described, but also figure out how many inches of tubing are taken up by a 90-degree bend. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 in this case, probably a little less for that. So you'll have the amount of tubing that's eaten up by the bend, your straight, your bend, and then we have the amount of tubing that gets us to where we need to go. So in this case, this is what I'm after. That outside to outside's 29 1/8. So I'll be able to figure out my straight before my bend start, and then how much is left over from that. What I'm gonna do is just aim high. I'm gonna overestimate this, probably count for 12 inches on either side of the bend, and then I'll figure out whatever that sort of straight measurement is. Go long, make a bend, and trim off the excess, and however much excess I trim off will tell me how long I actually cut that first part. Your tube comes in like that, band goes over, pin goes in, and then you tighten this bolt, which locks the tube in the die. So now the important part is I need to take the slack out of the system before I calibrate my bend gauge. Now by hand, that's easy because I can feel it. I'm curious how I'm gonna feel this. Kind of just get a sense, I guess, of
General tightness.
Yes, that's my first question. Kind of just guess, really. So I'm on 0. I've got my drop gauge set. I'm not gonna break anything. Let's run this thing through. I'm gonna go to 45 and let it drop. As soon as that drops in, I'll remove my pressure, pull my pin. All that plastic deformation or elastic deformation force is being held by this pin. I'll set that pin back. This is called a one-way cylinder where it's powered under one direction and spring return the other direction. So let that pin drop all the way in. There it goes. We're at 50 degrees. We're gonna keep going. Wow, this is way easier than hand cranking. It's nice and precise.
Yeah.
So I'm at 90. Now, let's, for fun, for science, I'm gonna take all the pressure off of this at exactly 90, and we'll measure how far away from 90 we are. So there's the stress off. Take the load off of that. Put this here. Take the follow bar off. Now our die is loose. It's time to figure out how far away from 90 we are. So you can see here that when I hold it flat, we are at 95 degrees. So we had 5 degrees of spring back, which means theoretically we go to 95 and then stop. So let's explore the prospect of remounting this tube in here, which is probably not going to work. We're gonna go back to 90. The die catches it. There's 90. There's 95. And let's see.
Looks. The eyeball test.
Hold it up to my table.
The eyeball test is pretty good.
I don't know if you can see what that LCD screen says. But
I call that perfect.
yeah, so I'm a half a degree off.
I mean, measuring half a degree off of this.
It's also a good opportunity to practice getting two bends in phase. So
In phase, meaning the same.
coplanar.
Yes.
Right. So this is bolted to the table, and the table's perfectly level. So the way to do this is, now this is going to get a little sketchy, and we may not have enough pipe, but we'll go as far as we can. We'll just end up bending this into a 180. And then pick our starting point, and then all you really got to do, so get a reference off of here.
Whoa, he's got to climb that one.
0.2 is fine. Reference off of here. 0.1, 0.3. I'll get a little bit more snug on this bolt. 1. 0.1. So you just want that to match the die, because that's the thing doing the bending. That's in. Let's go to 95 and see what happens. See if we got enough.
Oh, we might have just enough.
Yep, that's the tightest little staple I've ever made. That's gonna have like 1 inch of straight in between.
It looks in phase, Captain.
In phase. It's in phase enough.
Might be hard to get it accurate because there's not enough flat.
Yeah. First glance, lining it up with the end of the table. It's not a U.
It's a little outy.
But this piece is, probably that second bend coming so close to the first bend, probably not the best way to test that. Right now our legs are not 90 parallel. But remember, one of these was 5 degrees under bend. So what I'm hoping is that one of them is 90, one of them is 95, which is leading to this overall out bend. So we might still be in good shape. My practice of getting the bends in phase is definitely good enough, for sure. All right, also this is the actual tube that I'll be using to make the bike racks. It is ERW tubing, not BOM tubing. So it's a little different, and it may have different bending characteristics. All right, we're gonna hit 95 and see how we go.
The spring could be a little more springy. Nice shirt.
Yeah, I know, right? I was entered to win, we'll see if I win the Ram 3500 giveaway from the Grind Hard Plumbing. If you haven't watched the Grind Hard Plumbing Company channel on YouTube, you're missing out. 88.8. It's slightly overbent. So the only thing I don't like about this is this indicator. You just bend it. It's a welding wire. You just bend it. And the manual bender, you have a sense of how much preload you get. So you have the same start point every time. So I guess I'll do one more practice bend on this piece, just to...
So take it to like 94 or something?
Yeah.
I mean...
Pretty good.
You know what would be interesting, and totally shoot this down preemptively, is to keep them in phase, you just line them up on the shop saber, have it just draw a straight line. down the center of them with the Sharpie tool. And then you have a little marker right there. And that way, you just line up the line.
It might work. I mean, you just line it up with the top of the die.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, either way. Because then you can have the shop shaver just draw literally straight lines down the tubes.
Well, I can draw a straight line on a tube. You just put a piece of angle on it and
Yeah.
let it sit and draw. I feel good. That works great. So, love the hydraulic power unit. The bender's okay. The comments, I'm sure, are flooded by now with people that are going. The, you know, what's the other RF something? Rogue Fabrication is the one that Grindhard has. The Rogue Fabrication one's better, or the Bailey one is better, or the this and that's better. What I got, you know. I couldn't justify the $5,000 CNC one, but I could justify a grand or so to power this one. And I like learning stuff.
Yeah.
So there you go. That is the end of this episode of the month of fabrication here at Lift Arc Studios. We are geared up very nicely to tackle many of these bike racks tomorrow. Tyler Kerfus will be back. We've got all the skis over here prepped. We've got our tabs dedrossed and ready to go. So we're gonna hit it hard in the morning. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Again, use code SPIKEHATESSHIPPING for 30% off Lift Arc merch during the month of fabrication. That code is live right now. Help us get rid of some stuff, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.